Hello and welcome to It's a Fandom Thing. I'm your host, Erin Marlowe. And guess what time it is? It's that wonderful time of the year for Christian fucking Bale Month. Yes.
Yay!
If you're new here, starting back in 2022, so this is our 5th year of doing this, we decided to celebrate Christian Bale every single January because Christian's birthday is in January. So that's why I chose that month. And he has become our unofficial mascot. And believe it or not, we still have movies we haven't talked about. And so it's always exciting because you never know who might stop by. And it's just a ton of fun. And it's a great way to kick off the year and to make a month that I kind of find very bland and boring to be more exciting. So I'm very excited to be kicking off Christian fucking Bale Month. And we're starting it with the movie Thor Love and Thunder. And this was Carla's pick. Carla here. Carla is Carla joins me every January because without Carla, we could not do Christian fucking Bale Month. We kind of came up with this whole thing. It started when we recorded the episode Girlfriends. This is not a joke. This is real. And yeah, so first up, hello, Carla, and welcome to the first episode of this year's Christian fucking Bale Month.
Happy and blessed Bale Month, everybody.
Happy and blessed.
May we bestow gifts upon you.
So, hello, Erin A. Happy Christian Bale Month.
Happy Christian Bale Month. Do we leave marshmallows out on his birthday eve for him? I think we should, right? You have to.
I don't think he would mind.
That's a great idea. Yes, because if you don't know, and this is something that Carla came up with in our own theorizing of Christian fucking Bale, one of his favorite snack foods is marshmallows. So
this has no basis in real life. This is it's the vibe. He has marshmallow munching dad vibes.
The Christian fucking Bale mythology.
Yeah.
When I get to interview him, I swear I'm going to try and find a way to sneak that question in somehow. It'll have to be towards the end because I don't want it to I don't know. I don't want to kick it off with that, but I'm going to sneak it in there somehow. Yes. And Erin A is wearing the design that she created for Christians, which we're not actually supposed to mention this. I've already mentioned a couple times. Mm-hmm. We're not supposed to mention the day of celebration of when Christian Bale came to be. Because we learned from quote unquote Christian that it's a Welsh tradition not to actually say anything until the day of the event. So I apologize, but I'm glad that you found your hat. And if you're listening to this, just the audio version, just to let you know, we release video versions of these Christian Bale episodes every year for very specific reasons. So you can go to our YouTube channel and see probably pretty uncut and edited version of this as well. So, and then, getting more feedback again. Oh, no, anyway. Okay. And then last but certainly not least, Tiff. Hi, Tiff. Happy Christian Bale Month to you.
Hi, happy Christian Bale Month, where he came into being and he brought so much joy and brings so much joy to all of our lives each and every January.
We're going to start a cult. I'm just kidding.
Join our cult. We have hats.
Yeah, reminder, if you don't know, there is actually a name for the fandom around Christian Bale. We didn't come up with this, called Bale Heads. So if you didn't know that is the unofficial, I don't know if it's official, name for Christian Bale fans. So we are all Bale Heads, but I don't know if that'll change when we create our cult. So we should.
Competing Christian Bale fan clubs.
But let's get into Thor Love and Thunder from 2022. Yeah, Tiff, I'm getting feedback from you. So I'm going to mute you. So I'm going to first give some IMDb info and just let you know we're going to be spoiling this movie. So
This very old movie.
well, compared to some of the stuff we're talking about later this year, this is relatively new. But I mean, later this month. So Thor: Love and Thunder was released in 2022, and the IMDb description is as follows. Thor enlists the help of Valkyrie, Korg, and ex-girlfriend Jane Fonda, or Jodie Foster, or Jane Foster, to fight Gore, the God Butcher, who intends to make the gods extinct. It is directed by Taika Waititi, and it's written by Taika Waititi and Jennifer Caton Robinson. We know it's based on comics, yeah. Stanley comics, we know. It stars Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Natalie Portman as Jane Foster / the Mighty Thor, Christian Bale as Gore, Tessa Thompson as King Valkyrie, Taika Waititi as Korg / Old Cronin God, the voice of the Old Cronin God, Russell Crowe as Zeus. Sorry, I just laugh every time I think about some of the stuff. We don't need to give that other Chris a name. He's in here.
That other guy.
Will Star-Lord is in here. You know who plays him. And a bunch of other people. I could go on and on and on, but we're just going to stop right there. So what I first want to know, Carla, is, and then I realized I should have really put like screeching, yelling goats as the scale, but we'll still do but we'll still do this because I didn't know how much you want to like cut one of them in half if there's a half grade. So on a scale of 1 to 5 Thor hammers, what do you give this entry in the Thor franchise?
First, I just want to say how much I appreciate and respect that you put Thor hammers instead of Mjolnirs.
I just didn't want to
Thank you for that.
It made my day seeing that. Or even Stormbreakers. He went with Thor, which Thor hammer covers all sorts of, of hardware that Thor may or may not possess or possess in the future. So awesome. I give it 4 because I like it a lot more than a lot of people did. My husband and I were just talking about how we really liked this movie when it came out, and we were just like surprised that we were apparently in the minority there.
Yeah. There was a lot of like pushback against this movie. So yeah. So Erin A, how many Thor hammers do you give this one?
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna give it 4 also. And I do remember when it came out that people were like kind of mean about it. And I remember thinking like I liked it. I saw it in the movie theater. So I watched it again for this episode. And I'm like, no, this is a good movie. I like this. So I don't know what people's problems are. They're probably the same people that are buying tickets to the Odyssey right now.
This is
Allegedly.
Well, Matt Damon is in both movies, so since Matt Damon is in this movie too, I love that. They're probably the same people.
The Venn diagram is just one big circle. It's just a big old
Leave me
circle.
alone, Odyssey bros. Don't.
I love that. So Tim,
I am in total agreement for Mjolnirs, for Stormbreakers, for screaming, hollering goats. Yeah, let's do it. Because, I mean, look, you're coming off perfection that is Ragnarok, which is an absolutely perfect movie. It is an absolutely perfect movie. Top 3 MCU film. Do not fight me. So coming off of that, it's going to be hard to top anything. But I really liked it. I'm the same way as Carla and Erin A. I saw it in the theater. I thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, to be fair, I was really, 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 really apprehensive about Natalie Portman coming back because I dislike her immensely in the first 2 Thors, and that's why Ragnarok is so awesome because she's not there. but but I will say, happily surprised with her performance in this. I think she's great as the mighty Thor. So, yes, 4 hollering goats.
I also give it 4. And I actually enjoyed it more this time than I did the first time. And I liked it the first time, but I had more fun with it watching it this time. I've only seen it twice. I didn't see it in the theater actually, so but I really, really enjoyed watching it. I think it's really funny. I think, and we'll get to Thor in general a little bit later on, but I think Chris Hemsworth is like no one else could play this role quite like he does. And I just think it's so much fun. It's so funny. I love the use of Guns N' Roses in this, and I think it's fun. It's a fun movie, and I think people just sometimes don't want to have fun and they think it's cheesy and whatever. But I had a lot of fun with it, even with the weird relationships with his weapons that he has. Okay, well, since this is Christian fucking Bale month, we do have to start with talking about Christian Bale as performance and also the character that he plays, Gore. So, Carla, what are your thoughts?
First, I just want to say I honestly feel like Taika was making 2 different movies and just kind of smashed them together because all of the scenes with Christian Bale, there's a lot of gravitas in them. It's very weighty material. Um and honestly, it's like completely heart-wrenching, the stuff that Gore goes through and then what he feels like he has to do, how he's used by this power, and then ultimately the outcome of it all. And then you have Thor prancing around and being funny and throwing quippy one-liners. And it feels so disjointed. But just Christian Bale's performance, I think, even though it's very tonally different from the rest of the movie, I don't think that's on him. I think that's completely on Taika. And probably the studio too. The studio is, you don't cast Christian Bale and then, you know, not use Christian Bale to his full Christian Bale potential. And I think that they really did. They got, Christian Bale bucks for the role. I loved him in this. I think that because his performance is so grounded, it makes what Gore does more like what Gore is going through versus something that he's inflicting on the world. Like you can really feel his pain and his desperation and his heartbreak and um his feeling like just the disillusionment at this deity that he has been revering for so long and who has let him down in such a horrible, cruel way and so heartlessly too, because in the end he's like, okay, all right. Oh no, you experienced some loss. Boo freaking who. Um, so I think he gave a magnificent performance in um in a property that maybe I don't want to say didn't deserve it, but like objectively doesn't make sense in this. And again, that's not on him. That's strictly a matter of mashing up 2 very disparate movies into one. Um, I think also that the whoever did the makeup and the wardrobe for Gore, oh, beautiful, perfect, because he really does go through this transformation of becoming less and less like, you know, I don't know that his particular people are humans, but whatever he is, he's moving away from that sort of humanity type of thing, and into more of an abstract, just pure vengeance and pure embodiment of revenge. Um, the physicality that we know that he uses his body for his performances, sometimes in very terrifying ways. Not as in, oh no, I fear he's gonna come through the screen and stab me. It's like, oh no, have you eaten today? This time, thankfully, we didn't have to worry about that. It was fine that way. But just the way that he moves is beautiful, and he just. I think we chose a good movie, you guys. I think, and I know that this was my pick. I'm saying we. Maybe I mean the royal we. Maybe I don't.
I feel like you're using the royal we.
We don't know what you're talking about.
I wonder if it was Carla and somebody else is what I'm gonna go with that we haven't seen yet this year. Yes. So
Me deciding this.
yeah, Chrissy B's like, I gotta talk about this movie. So Erin A, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Christian's performance was incredible. It was so good. I think this was a really like heartbreaking character, and the way he portrayed that. First of all, can I just say, like, the opening scene was like, why would you put that as the first scene? This is like such like break my heart right out of the gate. So he, like, the fact that the movie opens on him and he is the star of probably the first 10 minutes. I love that. I like cannot have enough Christian on my screen. I agree with Carla. The makeup that he had, so good, and yet through all of like the prosthetics and the makeup that he had on, you can still see him and still see his acting and his expressions and his movements through that. And I love that's sometimes we don't see any of that in certain things, and so I think that was really great. There's a like behind the scenes, the making of special on Disney Plus for this movie, which was really interesting. I don't know if anybody watched it, but it took 3.5 hours to do that makeup on him. And so, yeah, there's like a little bit about that of how he'd get there early. They would shave his head, they would shave his face, they would shave his armpits, and then he would like sit in the chair with his arms up while they like painted the whole upper part of his body. And he said something in there about like that just helped him really like get into character to have that time too. So shout out to him for not complaining about having to sit in makeup for 3.5 hours for I don't even know how many days he had to be on set. But again, that just goes to like his dedication to his craft, and I think he takes it really seriously, and he did such a good performance. And Gore, the character himself, is like, okay, if you're gonna be a villain, the God Butcher is a pretty like badass name, right?
Yeah.
Like, pretty cool. And I do not blame him like one bit. Like, especially his God that kicked this whole thing off. Like that guy was a dick. He got what he deserved. So I don't actually blame Gore for most of what he's doing. I know he's in pain, and he probably started out thinking he was gonna like save people from these awful gods. So like it's kind of hard to be that mad at him, really. And I thought it was, even at the end, whenever they made it to the middle of the universe and he got his wish, and like that scene of bringing his daughter back, oh my god, like that's emotion that like Christian is just so good at, of us getting to see all sorts of different levels of acting from him. So kind of like ran the whole gamut of his skills in this movie, and I loved it.
Yeah, totally, completely. And so then Tiff?
It's definitely two different movies cut together. It's for sure two different movies. But I think Taika was probably a little purposeful in that. We all know he's kind of like manic pixie dream boy energy. So he's like, okay, look, scene, gore, gray, ashy, gross eye crust. Everything's black. Everything's dark, shadows. And then he's like, Thor, golden, rainbows, gold, 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 gold,
Old sparkly.
sparkly, tramp stamp of Loki. Yes, let's do it. It's and so so I think Taika is very I think his mind is always working. And when you do have somebody like Christian Bale, you don't have to go as hard as you do Christian, but you're always going to go as hard as you do. You're always going to give it like 1 billion% in every single performance. Even in a movie like Love and Thunder, which is ostensibly supposed to be something lighter than what Ragnarok is and lighter than coming off of the, like Endgame, that sort of thing, which whatever, that stupid movie. Anyway, yeah, but those opening scenes with his daughter, with Gore's daughter, played by Chris Hemsworth's real daughter, uh, that is very, very heart wrenching. Like I'm like, you're just pulling on my little emotions right here. What is happening, Taika? I'm supposed to be happy about this movie. What are you doing? And you can see how dedicated, and it's just them. It's like, where's the rest of their people? That everybody is gone. They're in this wasteland, and they are literally wasting away. And to get the relief that you think comes from meeting, don't ever meet your heroes, apparently, from meeting this sun star deity dude who is, like Erin A said, a total butthole. Yeah, I can see why he turns to that. The descent into madness, though, I think is an interesting choice, because this all jumped off because the god didn't care about him losing the most important person to him, which was his daughter. But then he goes and he steals children. and he gives children the ultimate PTSD, like ripping their little things in front of them, like, oh, it's a broken thing. I don't know what it is. It's like a giant slug or something like that, but it's cute and it's purple, and he broke it, and he broke its spine or something like that. So that descent into madness, I think, is an interesting choice, because you see just how far removed he is from being that concerned father in the beginning, to a devastated father, to now, okay, let's torture children audio visually. Let's do this. But he always uses his body in the most interesting ways, I think, like Carla said. Yeah, he's kind of skinny in this. I really wanted to give him like about 800 burgers, but it's okay. There's a purpose for it. There's always a purpose for it. So I think his performance is just, yeah, it's really, really good. The contrast between his character and then almost everybody else as well, because there's this shining glow on Thor, on Jane, on Valkyrie, even Korg, and he's a pile of rocks, but there's always this glow on them. And then there's Gore, who is just like, the color is like almost leached out, right? Because he's chalky and ashy. And it's just a really interesting performance overall. I like seeing like serious actors in comic book adaptations and things that are kind of like, oh, it's kind of silly. I like seeing people like that in this. I think it's fabulous. Like, do it more. Have fun. Do a tentpole movie, do something silly. Put something like this on your little IMDb. I like it.
Yeah, I think, with it being two different films in one, that was the biggest critique of this movie in general. Was a lot of people were like, well, Christian Bale thinks he's in a different movie than the rest of the cast thinks he's in, which, again, like Carla said, is not on Bale, because he didn't write it. He's not the director. I don't have a problem with it so much, because I think it actually kind of, I don't know, makes what Gore is doing and makes Gore's story all that more impactful. But the fact that he's not like he's not being silly, he's not making silly jokes, he's not being like Zeus or anything, and Zeus is an asshole. And so he's not being like that level, because he's coming from a place of trauma. And he's also, I mean, it's an interesting examination of the fact that, for the most part, these gods are assholes. Like all the gods in this are a lot of them are jerks and not good people. And they're just very like, or good gods, whatever. They're just very wrapped up in their own magnificence. And they look down on everybody else, on human beings and other creatures and stuff. So you can kind of see where a character like this, who has basically spent their whole life looking up to a god and then meets a god, and the god is just absolutely disgusting and is making fun of him when he's sitting there starving and trying to eat some food and everything like that. You can see where that anger can come from, especially when he lost like his daughter, and that was horrible for him. Not an excuse, of course, but it's still, you can see where that comes from. And I do think it's an interesting character to watch, because he starts out as not so much humble, but a little bit humble, and then meets his hero, the god, and then that changes him. And then the more he uses that weapon, the more it leads to corruption. So it's like, you kind of see that go on. It's killing him, but it's also corrupting him. And then going full circle to when he gets to eternity and making that wish. And instead of wishing for the destruction of gods, wishing for his daughter to come back, knowing that, his daughter will be protected. And then like leaving the most precious thing in his life, the person that he loves more than anything, to Thor, who was a god that he was going to kill and thought was in the same realm of the other gods, says a lot also about the trajectory and the full circle moment that the character goes through. Totally agree about the makeup, the costuming, all of that, just absolutely perfection. I think, I really think people sometimes think of Christian as only being this very serious actor, and he is so funny in real life. If you watch interviews with him, if you hear anybody talk about being on set with him and how he's actually really a funny person. And so even though he didn't do the funny stuff in here, he's a geek. He collects like Star Wars stuff, and he's always collected that stuff. He like dreams of being in a Star Wars movie. And so I think people just think of him as this actor and not as like a person who'd want to have fun. And so what I'm getting at is I would love to see him in just a straight up comedy, something really just like where he could do the comedic stuff that was in the other part of this movie and not just the seriousness. So that's just a little thought that I had when watching it, even though I think it works and Christian does an amazing job in this. I still would love to see him do something where he's just having fun the whole time, because I'm sure he's having fun in this, but I think when you have to do the makeup for that long, that part probably isn't that fun. So I'm sure you get used to it, but still, but yeah, I think he's great. And I think this is a very interesting character, and I think he's having fun doing this. So yeah. And he does become kind of scary when he kidnaps those children and rips the head off of that thing. That's
Yeah.
a little bit like, wow, okay, I don't think your daughter would have liked that. But I think he realizes in the end what he was doing was not right. So yes. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to talk about Thor in this entry, played by, of course, Chris Hemsworth. Okay, so we're back. So it is time to talk about Thor, played by Chris Hemsworth, one of the other good Chris's. So he's not the other Chris in this movie. So, Carla, your thoughts on Thor in this entry?
I love, love, love Chris Hemsworth as Thor. I think he was the perfect person to cast in this role. And especially after Thor Ragnarok, because the first, oh my God, I'm not even going to think too much about the initial Thor entries, because boring, so boring. The first one, I was like, this is a superhero movie. It is incredibly boring. This sucks. Why am I here? I'm here because he's hot. Okay, let's be real. But Thor Ragnarok is where, okay, so much happens in it that is different from so much of the MCU. And yes, in the earlier, bits of MCU, you have that Joss Whedon humor that worked so great on Buffy, but didn't work well outside of Buffy because that was a specific point in time. And also, you can only get away with the same trick for a set, period of time, property, and length of time. So Taika's Taika's sensibilities and Taika's humor worked great in Ragnarok and carried over. Well, he tried to carry that over into Love and Thunder. The problem here is that it was overwhelming the amount of humor. It undercut so much of the more serious moments, and there were moments where Chris Hemsworth would have had, I think, a better chance to shine as an actor than he did if he hadn't been, you know, busy delivering punchline after punchline. And that's something that I think is it's a big missed opportunity because I think that there's more to Chris Hemsworth than being hot and being funny and being able to carry heavy things around the screen. And that's the Thor Love and Thunder that I would have loved to have seen more of a blend of that seriousness and humor instead of kind of um, this very lopsided mess. And I say this again as somebody who loved the movie. I did love the movie. It doesn't sound like I did. I truly did. But I can completely see why some people were like, this was a miss. I don't think it was a miss. I think that there are things in it that could have been done better. But Chris Hemsworth in this role is never the problem. I think that he is obviously more than capable of carrying a movie. And every time that he's in one of the group scenes, he's one of my favorites to watch, even before Ragnarok. I just enjoy what he brings. He's so charismatic, and he's always had that spark of humor. I think Taika leaned on it way too much in Love and Thunder, to the detriment of the movie. But I think that he has an underappreciated um, humanness to him where he seems like a really accessible person. And that's part of why I think the ending works so well because he has, and yes, okay, whatever. The relationship between, the real life familial relationship is there. But through the movie, he interacts with other kids and he plays off of them really well with Axel. Oh my gosh. And they weren't even on the screen together all that much. But there's like, he really does seem to be like a very comforting presence for these kids, and he, as an actor, I think has a lot of what's the word of generosity as a screen partner, where he lets other people shine, or at least he tries to. But I really, again, this is on Taika where he just pushes so hard, like, go be funny, man, go land this line, and it steps on other people's performances, and that's not on Chris, that's on Taika. Um, so yeah, like in this movie, I think he was much better in Thor Ragnarok because he was allowed to do more than just be hammy and fun and hot. Here, that's pretty much all he was allowed to do. But there were those moments, especially towards the end, of his interactions with Christian Bale, where you can really see that. You can really see that there is more depth to him. Um, and I wish that more people would give him opportunities to be deeper and to do, you know, more, I guess, not even necessarily more serious, but like deeper character work, because I think he's capable of it. Um, and yeah, like I said, he's a hot dude, but he has somebody who has more to him than hotness. Like I feel like Glenn Powell is being given opportunities that Chris Hemsworth should also be getting. Mentioning him because he's also similarly hot, just in case you were wondering why I threw that name in there. I know everybody was so confused, like, what? Why are you mentioning other hot guy?
No, I know. I highly recommend people go watch the movie Bad Times at the El Royale. He's so good in that movie. I highly, highly recommend that one. Kind of a different kind of character for him. So if you want to see him do something else a little bit outside of this kind of realm, I recommend that movie. Just throwing that out there. Anytime I can throw that movie out there. That movie deserves more love. So, but I do want to say I do think that's a really good comparison though with Glenn Powell, because even though I know that they don't look the same, but I think they're in that same conversation thing, Yeah. So, Erin A.
Well, yeah, I agree. I don't think there's ever been a Chris Hemsworth performance that I didn't like. But I love like Thor himself, the character in this movie. I'm a sucker for Thor, so I'm way less picky about whatever Thor is doing on screen because I love him. He's just so I just love him. But I think there was a lot of opportunities for Thor to grow in this movie, and gosh, I can't even describe it now, but I thought it was great. I do appreciate the times whenever it's a little more serious on screen. I agree. I love his interactions with Axel, and the quick little back and forth about how like your dad gave you a warrior's name. I'm not calling you that, and he's like, okay, fine, I'll call you that. That's fine. And then he just goes with it for the rest of the movie. And whenever he's like talking to the children and calming them down, or whenever he's um gives them all Thor's power and like their whatever they've picked up and the little teddy bear bunny whatever and stuff, and like he doesn't treat them like scared little babies. Like he talks to them respectfully, and I think that's really nice, especially because he is technically a god, I guess, and he could be a jerk like that, but he's not anymore. He's not like that. And so I think he was really great in this movie. I agree Ragnarok I think is my favorite Thor movie, but this is a very, very close second. Um, I I think Chris Hemsworth and just the Thorness of it all was made for Taika Waititi's writing and directing. I think it's so great. I don't mind the constant silliness and one-liners. I love it. I think it's very Thor-like, but yeah, I think a little bit more development would be fantastic. I hope that there is another Thor movie. There, I know there's nothing in the works right now, but I want to see him again. I want to see him as the star of a movie again. I know like Avengers and whatever, he's still in those, but I really enjoy whenever it's a Thor movie and when it's a Chris Hemsworth movie. I love that, but I think it was great. I No notes, Thor. No notes, Chris. Perfect.
So, Tiff.
So Chris Hemsworth is a darn fine actor, like a darn fine actor. And he suffers from the same fate that other super, super, super duper good looking actors have previously. It's like, oh, you're just too pretty. You're just too good looking to, for people to like take you seriously on screen. I mean, for years we had that. I think that's why, Ryan Gosling did such dramatic roles, earlier on, because he wasn't being, it's like, no, he's just so good looking, that sort of thing. And it's the same thing. And Chris is super duper tall and super duper buff. So what are you gonna do? I think he is amazing. I think he is. We're talking about the MCU for all of its faults, for all of its foibles, for the Russo brothers of it all. The one thing that they do have is a wealth of very, very, very good actors in it. And in a space where you have Robert Downey Jr. and you have Angela Bassett and you have Samuel L. Jackson and throw me another one out there, people.
Chadwick Boseman.
Oh, thank you, Chadwick, and also Mark Ruffalo. I want to say Chris is like probably in the top 5 of all of those actors. I honestly do think that he is absolutely fantastic. His I When you said, Carla, you mentioned that how he is a generous scene partner. And I think that is so key because, and this is why I was so irritated when they announced that Natalie Portman was coming back because it's like, oh, they just had no chemistry. And then I go back and I'm like, it's not by his fault though. It's not anything that he was doing. Do you know she was so, I don't know what was going on with her during between the Dark World at that time frame, but she was so not locked in with him. She couldn't do a kissing scene with Chris Hemsworth. She couldn't do a kissing scene. When they're in Asgard,
Saying about a double.
I know.
I know they
Thank
look
you.
much alike, but
Uh, I'm like, girl, what is wrong with you? That's his real life wife in a scene in Asgard on in the Dark World. That's his real life wife, Elsa Pataki. She's being filmed from the back. That's Elsa Pataki. That is not Natalie Portman. So she got her act together in this though, I think, because I just think his natural inclination to making his screen partner better shows so much, and her performance is really, really, really good in this. It's really solid. His love for her, I love that in the beginning when he first when she shows up as the mighty Thor and he's like, oh, it's only been, what? She's like, what's it been, like 2 years? He's like, 8 years, 4 days, 36 hours, and I he's earnest. He's so earnest, and he doesn't mind showing you how he feels. He really doesn't. It's like, yeah, I have a tramp stamp of my dead brother's name on my who does this? Who does this? It's like you flick too hard, damn it. just, I just think, yeah, I am with you, Erin A. I love seeing him as a lead. As Thor. It's great, when he's around the other Avengers and all that kind of stuff like that. I still remember, even though it's a hot pile of garbage, Age of Ultron, but his face when Mjolnir, when Steve Rogers, who was not worthy. You're not worthy, Steve. You're not worthy, Captain America. Okay, but you're not worthy. You shouldn't have been able to shake Mjolnir or like pretend to lift it up. You shouldn't have been able to do it. But his face in Age of Ultron when when he sees it kind of moving, and the relief that comes over it. But it's those little moments. It's those little moments with him, and I just think he's fantastic. So good on you. He seems like a great dude. I need to watch his special on Disney Plus. He has one with his dad. His dad was diagnosed with early Alzheimer's, and it's them taking a trip to a road trip to all of their the family vacations that they did when he was a kid. So it looks like he has a special relationship with his dad, with his parents, and he's talked about his grandfather and the special relationship he had with him. So I just think he's amazing in it. I love the relationship with the children. And that's a nice parallel from the beginning when he was with Jane and he's walking by like this little boutique and he sees like a baby carriage. And then to the end when he is Uncle Thor, slash foster dad Thor. And I love that. I just think that's so amazing. Who would have thought? Who would have thought the spoiled prince who got banished from Asgard was going to be, Uncle Daddy Thor?
Yeah, not much else to add. I agree with what everyone has said. And I'm one of the few that I actually like the first Thor movie. I'm like I'm in the minority here, but I actually really liked it. And I think the reason I liked it was him was the main reason. That was also back in the days when I still liked Jeremy Renner. So I was excited because I knew he was gonna have like an appearance. So I will admit that was part of it. But I think he's like perfect in this role and no one else could play this. I know there are other actors that were in talks, but he is just the perfect person for Thor. If you ever see like pictures of this character, it fits him perfectly. And I do agree though with what you were saying, Carla, about how there's a little bit too much leaning in on the Thor being ridiculous and silly and funny and the jokes and everything, because he's still dealing with a lot and with a huge thing of like, you know, a god butcher, number one. And then also Jane coming back and Jane dying. That is a huge thing. This is like the love of his life dying. And that's a big thing to deal with. And while it's kind of dealt with a little bit, it didn't seem like the film wanted to go too deep into that because they were trying to, sorry, they were about the noise in the background. They were trying to go the lighter route with this Thor movie. So I totally agree that I think they leaned a little bit too much on that and could have dialed it back some, especially with Thor. But Chris Hemsworth is so good in this role, and he's really good at comedy. He has a really good comedic timing. And yeah, I mean, I'm not into blondes, but he is very attractive. So and he's got an amazing ass. So I'm just gonna,
Yes.
that ass is amazing. And you you can tell he's having so much fun, and he's not a selfish actor, I don't think. Um, his character can be very selfish and self-absorbed, but he's not a selfish actor. And he is one of the highlights in any of the Avengers movies. As people know, I'm not a Marvel person, but I really like the character of Thor. Is probably one of my favorites in that universe. So yeah, I think he does a great job, and I think this is an interesting entry. But I do agree that I think some of it could have been dialed back just a tad, just like turn it down from that 11 that you've dialed it up to, and then maybe turn it down to like an 8 or 7 or something, and it would have been like the perfect kind of blend there. But he is fantastic. I would like to see him in smaller things too, like some small movie that's very character driven. I'd love to see him do that too. Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, sorry, I just wanted to check that note that was there. Okay, so we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the other characters. So we'll be right back. Okay, so Carla, what are your brief thoughts on the other characters in the movie?
I honestly, Korg was getting on my nerves. Like, there was too much Korg. And
Oh.
I like Korg in smaller doses. Like, I like Thor having friends, I will say that. Thor having friends, I'm always for. I just like it better when his friends are mostly the Hulk. You know, that that's my personal preference. Aside from bashing on Korg, I really love Valkyrie. I love um, Valkyrie being simultaneously an incredibly efficient ruler, but also so fed up with her job. Like the bureaucratic bits of it, she was like, "Oh my God, I did not know that this was what I was signing up for." It's like when you get a promotion and then suddenly, like the parts of your job that you liked are no longer the parts that you get to do, and you have to deal with like all of the paperwork, and like that part sucks. And it's like, I totally get that. Some of us sometimes, end up being assigned something that at first we're like, "Oh, I'm so honored," and then being like, "Oh, so nobody else wanted to do it, huh?" That's kind of like the feeling that I got. But Valkyrie knows all of like the lore and is very helpful in explaining. And you always have to have somebody explaining lore in this kind of world, which I'm glad that it was her. I really like her. There, some people, including a friend of mine, um, don't like Tessa Thompson and think that she's like not that good an actress. I think she's perfectly fine. Like I haven't seen her in so much that I can be like, oh no, she's fantastic in general. I really like her in this role. I think she's great. Um, um, Natalie Portman, you know, I have my up and down feelings with Natalie Portman's I don't know, like acting in general. There are some really high highs and some really like meh performances, I think. But yeah, like Tiff said, there was like just not a lot of chemistry early on in Jane and Thor's relationship. And then here, I think is where they really managed to make that work. Um, but honestly, I think with this, it's largely on Thor. Um, and this is one of those things again where the movie kind of fails the character because there were so many interesting parallels between Jane and Gore. they're both experiencing a loss. Her of her future, him of his future and his child. She has this tool that is fundamentally changing her from the inside and giving her power while simultaneously killing her. And he has this tool that is simultaneously giving him the opportunity to get revenge while simultaneously taking everything good of him out of him. So huge missed opportunity to make that more of a salient point. They could have had, I think, a really great back and forth between her and Gore that would have highlighted that a bit more. But they were too busy cracking jokes, which, let me tell you, the jokes were funny. For the most part, I was laughing, but I was also at the end like, I'm left kind of bereft at the loss of what could have been with all of the other stuff. Um, the Guardians of the Galaxy, mostly I'm glad that they weren't there for much of the movie. Um, when it comes to Guardians of the Galaxy, mostly I enjoy the people who are not um Star-Lord, Stargazer,
Star-Lord.
Sideburns. Yeah, that guy. Um, but I did love the goats. I think the goats were amazing. They were so unexpected and hilarious, and just having those weird little moments punctuated with those screams. That's a trick that worked really well, and I enjoyed it. Um, but yeah, primarily I just wish that there had been more Mighty Thor interacting with Gore, and I think that would have really made so much. It would have made a lot more sense in the movie, and would have, I think, elevated some of it a bit more.
I think we're about to have an appearance from somebody. Wait just a second here. Hi, Christian.
Oh my goodness. Hello, Erin and Tiff. My gosh. What a beautiful day it is to greet you all.
Hi, Christian.
Christian, yay.
Happy 2026, everybody. We made it. Oh, yes. Maybe not thriving, but certainly surviving.
Yeah. Well, it's so nice to see you, Christian. I have missed you so much, and this is our 5th year doing this. Or our 6th year? Excuse me, our 6th year doing this. Yeah, right.
Sixth year.
No, our 5th year. 5th year. I'm sorry, 5th year.
Years. So many of them. It's like a whole handful of years.
A whole handful.
Well, I'm so excited that we still get to keep doing it and we still get to see you. I look forward to it every year, and we miss you while you're gone. And I'm just briefly like, what was your feeling being in this movie? Like, did you love this character, Gore, or?
Well, that is such a great question, Erin. And before we go much further, I want to stop and just thank you for the wonderful, insightful question. I do believe that I was perhaps sold on a different film than we ended up creating, and that's okay. That's all right. I think, everybody maybe makes a little mistake now and then, and they think, oh, I shall, have a movie that is, full of depth and gravitas and thoughtful character work. However, I also want to make it funny, but I want to do it in completely different parts, and never the twain shall meet. And that's all right. I am just here for a good time, after all. I will tell you a little bit about my backstory about Gore. Can I tell you about my backstory about Gore?
Yes, please do.
All right. I am so excited to talk to you about this. I give it a lot of thought. I sat down and I thought to myself, what is this man really? What is he about? He is about love, and he is about being a good father, and about getting his steps in every day, eating important cardio. He liked doing walks through the desert with his daughter. And, you might say, wait, Maybe he didn't like doing long walks in the desert. Maybe he just had to because, famine and drought and all that. However, I posit that it is because he liked to be fit. And he also wanted to, pass on the values of fitness. So I thought to myself some more, Christian, how would you like this character to be, what is his history? And I thought to myself, I think that he was a devout, whateverist. I forgot the name of his god. Doesn't matter. He's a devout goddess. And he cared very much about his child, and he cared very much about his people. However, there was lots of his people. Oh darn! Still, he perseveres. Now, I think that his soul was corrupted from the outside in. I don't think that he was a bad person. I think he did bad things, and I want you to stop and just maybe ponder.
A new picture.
This is my pondering face.
Like it.
Yes, you see, this is my thoughtful face. This is my pondering face. There is a difference. I hope you understand.
I get it.
Thank you, Tiff. I knew you would.
Mhm.
But I thought to myself, deep down inside, he just wants to make all of the worlds better. And what better way to make things better than by having nobody let you down, nobody disillusion you? It's like, if you could make it so that nobody would ever go without marshmallows, wouldn't you want to do that for everybody? He wanted everybody to have all of the marshmallows, and in his case the marshmallows were, of course, not having God disappointing you and you being like, oh hey God, could you please make my life maybe not so horrible, and then the gods maybe not being like, oh, I don't really care. And then that's basically, I believe, my stance on that. So back to thinking about this character. I wanted him to be a good person doing awful things for good reasons to bad people and good people. That's all it was about. It was about equality, really.
Mhm.
And that's it.
Well, thank you so much, Christian. I appreciate that insight. That was amazing, and I love the new look, your pondering look. I like it a lot.
Oh, thank you. It is also when a joke doesn't quite, when a joke is out there and maybe they don't know that they made a joke, so you don't really want to laugh just in case you think, oh, maybe they didn't mean to make the joke, so you want to just hold it and you're like, I'm not gonna laugh. I'm not laughing. At least I'm not laughing at you.
Well, thank you, Christian, and I'm so excited again that we are again talking about you for a whole month. We'll also be talking about you in March when we get to talk about the bride. So I'm very excited about that too. So I love this month. And thank you, Christian, for gracing us with your presence, for invading Carla's home.
I'm sure she is so happy to see me again. She did have marshmallows at the ready. I am always so pleased with her hosting capabilities. I am glad to be here and to be talked about and to talk with you about talking about me.
To be talked about.
Well, I do believe in the whole concept of you stop existing when people stop talking about you. So for now, I exist. So yay us! Woohoo!
Okay, Christian. Well, thank you so much, Christian.
My utter pleasure. Until next time, ta-ta.
Ta-ta for now.
Ta-ta.
Ta-ta. Oh, Christian, it's always so nice to have you back. I don't know if is it though? Is that what you said?
Yeah, is it?
I think you have a different perspective on it because he invades your home. So.
Carla's couch begs to differ.
Yeah.
Marshmallows and the cushions.
There's marshmallows everywhere, aren't there?
everywhere. Oh my god! Like, and he likes the mini one, so it's even worse.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, the marshmallow budget in your home must be, jeez,
Oh.
Louise.
Yeah.
I
Fine
just
bulk.
picture with a big bowl and eating them like popcorn.
Yes. Erin, are you bugging my house? That's even worse.
Well, thank you, Christian, and thank you again, Carla, for that gift. So, the gift that keeps on giving. So, Erin A, your brief thoughts on the other characters? I know it's hard to follow Christian. It's hard to follow Christian.
Oh man. Okay. I think all of the other characters are like fantastic. Like the casting for everybody is so good. I know there's not a whole lot of new characters that we haven't seen before, but I do want to shout out, and I know this is controversial. After Thor and after Gore, I just realized those rhyme. I think my favorite character is the goats. I don't care what anybody says. The goats got so much hate when this movie came out. I love them. It's hilarious every time. And I know like the complaints were that like the joke went on for too long. Like no, it didn't. It's funny every single time the goats scream. I laughed out loud in the theater to the point where my husband was just like, "Would you stop?" I don't care. I watched it last night. I laughed every single time. I love those stupid goats. They're so great. Whenever they crash into the like the little planet with I can't. It's so good. So yeah, goats aside, I do love Valkyrie. I think she's great. I love that she's a reluctant king, but she's still doing the things. She's still doing the Old Spice commercials. Um, she's so good, and she's such a badass, but then she's doing all of like the paperwork and doing her job too is so great. I I think she has one of the coolest exits whenever they're leaving they've stolen the thunderbolt from Zeus and she like kisses that girl's hand and then just falls backwards. So freaking cool, right? So I think she's just fantastic. I like Korg. I think he's funny and he's so like so sweet and innocent, just like he's Thor's bestest buddy. So I thought he was cute. I did like Jane more in this movie, especially as Mighty Thor. I think that was really great. I enjoyed the credit scenes that we're getting like literally nothing of. They gave us all these previews of Jane and Valhalla and the hit Zeus is alive and sending Hercules, who is Brett Goldstein, which I think is great. After Thor, and then like just nothing, just like silence. There's no news about any more of this. I don't know if some of that's going to be incorporated into the next Avengers or what, but that like, oh, it kills me. And there are spoilers about like in the comics, there's some stuff about what's going to happen to Jane, and I won't say it here if people don't know, but I hope we do get to see more of this version of Jane and not previous movies of her, because I do think that she evolved really well. So I liked everybody, and I liked that he left the Guardians of the Galaxy relatively early in the movie. and, and whenever Thor gives Star-Lord his ship back, you're giving me my own ship, really? And he's like, yes, total confidence. So yeah, I do appreciate that they left the Guardians pretty quick.
Yeah. And Tiff.
So yes, I very definitely third that the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff was extremely minimal because I still have not been able to watch any of those movies. I have fallen asleep to every single one of them. And no, it's not going to happen. Stop trying to make fetch happen, dear daughter. I'm not watching it. So anyway, yes, shout out to the goats because I find it hilarious. Maybe it's because we're embodying the spirit of 12-year-old boys, Erin A. I don't know, but I find it absolutely hilarious when those things scream. I scream every time. I think it's funny. I don't care that they
I
used
love
it 8
it.
million times in the movie. I think it's hilarious. It's
Does
so
not
funny
get
to
old.
me. It does not get old, right? Them crashing into I mean, literally crashing into the planet. They have no brakes, like whatsoever. They can't stop. I I find it hilarious. I think it's awesome that Taika decided to make Stormbreaker semi-sentient in this movie because Stormbreaker is like, dude, I was here for you when Mjolnir was in pieces from Hela breaking it apart. And he's like, I'm looking at you like, why are you trying to get back with Mjolnir so bad? Why you want Mjolnir so badly? I'm right here. I'm right here, Thor. I'm bigger. I'm better. I can fly. Like I can steer ship. What's going on? Anyway, um, so that's A+ to that. I love Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. I think it's amazing. The burdens of kingship, and shout out to being a king, not a queen. The 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 burdens of kingship are like super, super, super heavy on her, and she still has to go through the daily minutia of advertisement and opening up, new things on on in the town and in the square, and dealing with the acting troupe, which
Yeah.
yes, Luke Hemsworth, you are a gem. Matt Damon, you are a gem. And I think was the other one. Oh, Melissa McCarthy is in a cameo as Hela, and Sam O'Neill. Sam O'Neill? Sam Neill?
Yeah, Sam
There's
Neill.
no O, right?
It's just Sam Neill. Yeah.
Sam Neill. Yeah, I don't know why I put an O. I made him Irish. But anyway, Sam Neill. It's just I find them so funny. It's a small part, but I feel like it's like the running gag now from Ragnarok. And I think it's like give it to me. Give it to me. Feed me, Seymour. I love it. And I like Korg. I do. I like Korg. I think he's sweet, and that's his buddy, and he's going to defend him. He's a pile of rocks. All you have to do is like, smash him with a hammer, and he's going to be like a little pebble, and that's scary. But hey, you know what? Look, he's still so effective. He's literally got Valkyrie's back. Literally got her back. And so
That was so good.
fantastic. Axel, yes. Yes, General Axel, I salute you. You did an amazing job leading your troop of children. So, um, I think that the supporting cast is great. Yes to this iteration of Jane Foster. Um, I think that's such an important evolution of her character because I really disliked Jane Foster in Thor 1. Well, I don't care for Thor 1. I ju- just I don't acknowledge Thor 2. So whatever, it's not there. And this version of her though, it really works. It really works. So good for you for working out your issues, Natalie Portman, with this character, because I don't know what was wrong with you. I have no idea what was wrong with you in the first two. But yeah, so I love it. I do. I really like it, and I think the kids were cute. I think the kids were well cast the way because it looks like they cast like some little gymnasts and dancers and things like that. Because I don't think all of that is CGI when they're doing because it almost looks like a dance battle when they're battling the shadow monsters. So I think they did a really good job with that. So they should have had more Darcy Lewis
Yes.
with Jane. They should have
Agreed.
had more. Yeah, because I'm like, she's got stage 4 cancer. I feel like her best friend should have been around more.
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of my thought. Just kind of my thoughts. So,
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm the only person on here that likes the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. This is before we knew who Chris Pratt was. And I actually really like that movie. I think it's really funny and entertaining. And I think it kind of works that the Guardians of the Galaxy are very much in Thor's world because not just because it's like aliens and stuff, but also just because I don't know, the humor and everything kind of aligns, the music aligns, all of that. I like them. I like Rocky, the raccoon character that Bradley Cooper voices and everything. But I am glad they were gone because I think that would have been too many characters in this movie. And sometimes you can run the risk in any kind of superhero movie where there's way too many people and way too much going on. I do second. I love King Valkyrie. I love that character a lot. I think Tessa Thompson does a fantastic job in this role, and I think she adds a lot to the story. And I like her chemistry with everyone, and in particular, I like her chemistry with Jane. I think her chemistry with Natalie Portman is really interesting to watch, and I would have liked to have seen more of them working together, or even if there was another movie where we could see the two of them working together more than Thor being there. And with the Natalie Portman performance and the Natalie Portman character, um, I think Natalie Portman is a fantastic actress. I do think what happened is she didn't want to do these movies in the beginning because she felt like she was just the love interest. And so I think because in this one, she has more to do and she's not just the love interest. Maybe that's why she appears to be having more fun. But I believe that with the first one, at least with the first one, she was not really didn't want to do it. And I believe that's what was going on. It wasn't really something she ended up enjoying. And so to me, it was so interesting that she came back because I had always thought she didn't like doing them. And so I think it's because she got the opportunity to kind of expand on her character. I think she's actually really fun to watch and really interesting. And it's an interesting look at, someone dealing with illness and how they might have that opportunity to maybe not, to um, be cured or be healed, and looking at that and everything. And I like the goats. I do. I'm sorry, I'm disagreeing a lot with my panel here. I do think the screaming
start with
after a
me.
while, was a little bit much. And it could be that I was listening to this with Bluetooth. And so hearing it that loud in my ears was a little bit much. I like them though. I like them. I don't love them as much as everybody else on my panel does. And so I actually think they weren't used too much because I think they were used in the right amount where I didn't get to a point where I was completely done and over them. I think Russell Crowe does a really good job as Zeus. I think this is the perfect description of what, the perfect depiction of what Zeus would be like. And I like a lot of the other cast. I think Korg is fine. I like Korg. Korg is entertaining. But I think if I were to pick like a second favorite character, it would definitely be Valkyrie for sure of all the other characters on here. But I think it's a really interesting mix of people. And again, they all are in the same movie as Thor, and then Gore is in the different movie with the kids. The kids are in that movie too. But I think they all do a good job. I do love the part when they're in the little, they're gonna, because Thor's like, we're gonna ask Zeus and all the gods for help. And when Zeus, has all the clothes go away from Thor. And I know it's kind of silly, but I do love watching Jane and Valkyrie being like, nope, let's just sit here for a little bit longer, just a tad bit longer. I did like that because I always love when we can kind of switch and turn the tables and have it be us, ogling a man and, not the other way, equal parts. So yeah.
I like that you mentioned Russell Crowe, and I should have mentioned him too, Erin, when he holds his skirt when he comes down the stairs.
I loved that. That was so great.
Prances down the stairs. That's the best way I can think of it, is that he's prancing. That was pretty funny. That was actually really funny.
Yes.
I'd love to know whether that was the direction or if that's just what Russell Crowe decided to do.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I did love the whole like orgy thing where they're gonna be like, he's like, well, you're not invited to the orgy anymore. Yeah. Okay. Well, if my panel is okay, and it's all because people out there watching, Erin has something, Erin, not Erin A, that has come up that I have to do, unfortunately. So if my panel's okay, we might skip 6 degrees of Finwit Rock and just go ahead and close out, just to give me a little bit more time. If my panel's fine with that, I'm not
Totally
seeing any.
cool.
Stupid
So
real life, I guess.
I'm
sorry,
fine.
Finn.
Since real life. Yeah, I did like 18 degrees of Finwit Rock, but it's fine. It's fine.
Make me feel guilty. No,
I'm just kidding.
maybe we'll record that separately some other time or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll have you, if you're on another episode, I'll give you the chance to do that. So I apologize, but we are going to go ahead and wrap up. And I just want to thank my lovely panelists, and just a shout out to Christian Bale for coming back every year. We appreciate you so much. So Carla from OK Real Quick, which I apologize, I didn't say that in the beginning when I introduced you. So I'm sorry. But if you want to tell everybody where your podcast, OK Real Quick, can be found in you.
Thank you. Yes, you can find OK Real Quick wherever you found It's a Fandom Thing Pod. You can find our social media at OK Real Quick Pod by looking at social media and putting that in and being like, oh, hey, I found you. You can find me, my art and my musings on TikTok and on Blue Sky, and that's at Carla Temis, or my website, carlatemis.com. That's CarlaTemis.com. I'm also very, very frequently on the Discord server for It's a Fandom Thing Pod. So, hey, come and say hi.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if I'm frozen, or everybody's kind of frozen for
Oh,
me.
no.
Something happened. I don't know what's going on. So it's like you're trying to. Yep. Okay. So I guess we all unfroze there. That was weird. So anyway, so Erin A.
It is like the technical issue day. So I am on the Discord channels for the show, obviously. Mostly Instagram. I am at Geek and Sew. That's what I do. I geek and I sew things. If you're watching this video, which is really the only way to get the Christian fucking Bale full effect, and you saw the monster dog dart into here whenever I got up to get my charger, he also, you can follow him because his name is Zeus, and he also acts like a entitled jerk god as well, which is why he's in here now, angry snoring, because he's fully awake. He's just making snoring sounds at me because he's mad for locking him out. He also has an Instagram, and you can go follow him. He is Zeusel_Streusel on Instagram and TikTok.
Awesome. Thank you. And I actually missed that. So I don't know. I must have been looking at something else. Missed Zeus. So yeah.
My computer's dying. It was like 12%, 12 minutes left of battery. I'm like, oh my God. So I get up to go get the charger, and I just see him just like dart down the hallway. I'm like,
He came in and he posed and everything. He sat on the bed and he was like, hey girl.
He knew exactly what he was
That's
doing.
awesome.
He did.
That's awesome though. So Tiff.
You can find me at Who Is Tiff Is Me across all of the social things, the interwebs. I'm mainly on the Discord channel though with all of the It's a Fandom Thing Pod crew. So we chatted up about books and TV and film and music and all sorts of goodies. So come on by and say hi and hey. And happy New Year, folks.
Yeah.
It's been a time, but happy New Year.
Yeah. Speaking of dogs, you can follow Fergie the dog on TikTok at Schroeder and Fergs. That's SCHROEDERANDFERGS. It's long, but it's worth it. To find links to all our past episodes, to our social media, including that Discord server that has been mentioned, head on over to our website. It's a fandomthingpod.com. And while you're there, consider becoming a Patreon supporter today. For as little as $3 a month, you get ad-free content, you get episodes a day early, and you also get bonus episodes. Carla and I have done bonus Christian Bale episodes, just all sorts of goodies on there. We talk about like seasons of shows. We have talked about like movies we haven't discussed before. We've done like audio tracks. Like last year we did one for American Psycho. So click the link in the show notes or go onto this, or click the support us tab on our website. It's a fandomthingpod.com. And next week, we continue the Christian fucking Bale celebration with my pick, a decidedly different movie than what we're talking about today. A very, very small movie called Laurel Canyon. So until next time, remember, it's a fandom thing. Black Lives Matter, stop Asian hate, and free Palestine. And in recording.